Welcome to the Successful Athletes podcast presented by TrainerRoad, where we interview successful athletes to make you a faster cyclist. And today we're joined by Nadia Hill you're in New Zealand, right? Which part of New Zealand, Nadia?
So it's New Plymouth. It's a small city on the west coast of the North Island. Those of you who are familiar with New Zealand, like it's two islands.
Awesome. So Nadia, you reached out and you have a unique story because you are, relatively speaking, a beginner. But you reached out and you shared this story with me that I think is really entertaining, and we'll get to that. But I first want to ask, like, how did you get into cycling and when was that? Because you're young as of now. So when did this all start for you?
So it started about 2 years ago through my boyfriend. He was quite into cycling, particularly mountain biking. So I just tag along with him, go to the trails. And I wasn't super serious about it. I was just enjoying learning a new skill outdoors. And so that's kind of how I got into it. So I had a bit of a humbling experience into mountain biking, probably about 6 months after getting started. I followed Cam, my partner, down a track, and I think my famous last words were, "I'm going to try keep up with Cam." And I washed out and I broke my elbow. So it was quite bad. I had 2 surgeries on it. So that required quite a bit of recovery. So that was my intro to mountain biking.
So how long ago was the break, or how long ago was your last surgery?
Would have been the end of last year. So I would say my mountain bike career basically probably even just started this year. Seriously, actually, pursuing it more frequently and enjoying it more. But overcoming the injury side of thing, just the confidence getting back on the bike it took a bit of time.
I was going to ask about that. How did you, were you even interested in riding again? What made you come back to it after breaking your elbow? That's a super painful injury too.
Yeah, it was just one of those ones where, it's in a joint. So the rehab is my range of motion. I couldn't really get my straight for probably 6 months. So I wasn't that keen on getting back to it quickly. I was a bit put off.
Understandably.
bit put off. And I think just the thought of, when I got back into it, the thought of crashing again, I always thought, I'm going to get injured every time I crash. But since then, it's, it's not actually like that. You'll have crashes and, you just get back up. But it's just getting over that mindset of, just getting that confidence back up.
So you just took your time kind of stepping back into it then, I would assume.
It took my time. I think I was using TrainerRoad intermittently, but because I wasn't focused on getting back to it quickly, I didn't really put much time into it. I would just pick out random workouts. I wasn't fully immersed or dedicated.
Sure.
But I'm glad I got back into it. Soon enough, Cam was, he dragged me in. He's like, "You gotta get back into it, otherwise you never will." And
Good on him. Well, good on him. But also I want to get to the point in the story where he, that you actually reached out to me about, because at what point did he give you the suggestion? And you know what I mean on the suggestion.
So it would have been after my injury when we got back to riding. And I think because he had been training heaps, the gap in our fitness just lengthened. We'd go out for he'd want to make the most of going out for big days, because sometimes we travel to the trails in Rotorua. I'm not sure if you have heard of there. So that's one of the best places you can go in New Zealand for riding, I reckon.
In the world, really.
In the world, it's beautiful. We'd go out for days there, and he'd of course want to spend the whole day out riding, and I'd be getting dragged up the climbs and complaining heaps, and just, as soon as my legs started to burn, I'd just be like, nah, I can't do it, and jump off the bike. And so he says to me, he goes, oh, hey Nads, like I think over summer we should look at getting you an e-bike. And I was just so
boy.
Oh yeah, that just fueled a fire. I was like, just did not want to hear it. I've, no offense to e-bikers, I'm sure you can get lots of enjoyment out of them, but I think from a being competitive and like more athletic, I didn't want to take the easy way out. So it's just, no, Cam, we're not getting an e-bike.
Yeah. What was your subsequent reaction to that? Because if if I suggested that to my wife, she would be like, I would get slapped for sure.
Yeah. I was like, I think he was trying to be almost practical about it, because he's like, I just want you to enjoy yourself, and like, you're not enjoying yourself at the moment, like you're not, you're complaining. It's just a hard day.
Yeah.
It's a hard day having you, and I want to enjoy myself too. And I was like, oh, fair enough. But it almost like, I think I needed to hear it, because there's no one else that can take control of your fitness. You've got to, if you want to do something, you've got to just get to it and train, and like there's no easy way out really, unless you want to become an e-biker.
Sure. And even then, it's work. It's just a different kind of work. Is that what drove you to get to the point where you had mentioned before, you'd occasionally drop in and do a workout with TrainerRoad, but is that what made you get more focused with it?
Yeah, it did. And I started off with a low volume plan. I think the real motivation came after I did my first bike event. And then I started to do mid volume and actually plan my next event, and then I'd work towards that and actually set up a plan. So I think I was just on a low volume after that, and I still did see a huge improvement in like my climbing and everything, like probably not to the degree that I am now, but like at the time, I wasn't just stopping when my legs started to hurt. I'd push through the burn a bit further and know like that my body could handle it, and I wasn't gonna like bonk. I was fine. But yeah, it's just the mental toughness as well.
Sure.
Like I think that TrainerRoad helped me with a lot.
Yeah. What was the hardest what was the hardest thing about structured training for you at this point? Like following a plan. It could be a specific type of workout. It could have been just scheduling it and getting it done amidst the other things you have going on. What was most difficult about following a structured plan for you?
Well, I should probably just give you a bit of context around like my life. I'm a full-time student at the moment, so I study via distance, and that actually gives me quite a bit of flexibility. So fitting in and like the timing isn't too bad for me at the moment. Like I'm pretty lucky. But when I was working, I was still using TrainerRoad, and it was a bit harder because you weren't as motivated after work and or before work to get up really early. But yeah, so I think one of the hardest things was as well like not procrastinating before you do a workout. It's gonna be tough, it's gonna take a lot of focus. So yeah, I think just knowing that, like, I think as you get through TrainerRoad and you do more workouts, how far like you can push yourself. And I think just learning that over time, you get better. And even though the workout scares you, you still know, okay, this is going to be fine. Like I'm going to get through it. And another important thing I find that helps with that mindset and getting past that mental block before you do a workout is having support. So whether it's your friends or like your partner, family, like I'm lucky I've got my sister who's into cycling as well now, and I've dragged her into TrainerRoad, so we FaceTime sometimes and do that, and yeah, it's good. It keeps me motivated and each other accountable, which is good.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a huge part of it. If you carry all the weight and burden alone, it's makes it harder than it needs to be, you know. You can
Definitely.
always get that sort of support system. How about so mountain biking is like your main focus, right? But
Yes. Yeah.
do you train on a road bike on the trainer, or what sort of equipment setup do you have?
Yeah. So my main focus now is mountain biking. I would like to get into a bit of road. I'm actually lucky. I've got a hand-me-down road bike from my partner Cam. So I've got that set up on the trainer, and I'm a little bit scared to take it on the road, but I've been out once, and then I've just been practicing because it's a different feel. Like you don't feel as stable, I find, like
Sure.
when you're on the road, and just with all the cars, like it's a bit intimidating. But I would like to get into that, and but yeah, our trainer, going back to the trainer setup. So I've got the road bike set up in there, and then we've got another trainer actually. So we've got the trainers set up next to each other. So
Nice.
sometimes we'll do workouts together, and yeah, it's really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, built-in support system, even physically in that regard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
When he's encouraging me though, sometimes, and I'm in the middle of a VO2 max sprint, I'm like, shut up.
yeah, exactly. Let me
He's like,
focus.
make it look easy, and I'm like, it's not.
Yeah, it's relatable, super relatable.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. That's what everybody's yelling to Coach Chad too with the workout instructions. So
yeah.
you went from 157 FTP to 210 FTP. That puts you somewhere around 3.8 watts per kilogram, which is super, super, super fast. That's like, particularly for a beginner. What sort of, how long did it take you to go from 157 to 210?
Well, I pretty much started training consistently on mid-volume plan from May
Mhm.
till, well, probably like 4 weeks ago was when I did my last FTP test or RAM test. Yeah, so probably about 3.5 months of solid, like
Yeah.
consistent training. I didn't even think I could get anywhere near as fit, and I didn't think I'd respond as well to it. But yeah, I've been enjoying it, and yeah, it's been good to see how far I can push my fitness.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I want to cut off somebody right now from thinking that like, oh, well, of course, a new athlete, they see big gains. Like yes, but it's not like it's fabricated. It's not like it's fake. Like this is what happens when you introduce structure and you do that early on. It's a huge improvement, and that's just the way it goes. Now, particularly for you, there's other improvements too, though, right? Like, so there's the FTP side, but that's not everything. You're doing mountain biking,
Mm.
which is a totally different discipline. How has getting fitter changed your experience on the trail?
Um, just it's actually increased my enjoyment riding so
Mm,
much. Like I don't I actually look forward to doing climbing. Like, well, not look
mhm,
forward to it, but I know that I can get through it, and I can do long days. I can do 1,000 meter climbing days now, and yeah, it's great. It's kind of opened up more riding for me to do.
mhm.
I used to take quite a few shuttles and that, and just do the runs down, and when I was getting started, but now we won't even shuttle anywhere. We'll just ride all around the forest, and yeah, it's great. It's just increased my enjoyment of riding so much more. And I think because I've tried to fit in a couple of gym sessions each week as well to do strength, because it's important for females and bone density and that. So
Mhm.
yeah, just doing heavy stuff, and well, not like heavy, but
Sure.
heavy for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's also helped my endurance doing like the trails downhill as well. And yeah,
Yeah. And you've been able to do a handful of races this year, correct? And how have your
yeah.
results been since doing those?
Oh, they've been good. I've been really surprised at how how well I did comparatively in my age group. I haven't won anything overall, but in the events I've done, I've got placings in my age group, which is really cool. Yeah, so I've done three races this year. a bit mix of things. So the first one was a 20-kilometer mountain bike, just fun event. First thing I've done. It doesn't seem like long now, but at the time, it's quite intimidating.
Yeah.
Even just like getting to the start line, and you just feel like a fish out of water. But yeah, so that was my first one, and then the second one I did a 50-kilometer gravel race, which was
big difference.
Yeah. Big difference. I got dragged into that as well. Through Cam, because he was doing it. That's pretty much how all my races started. I was already there, so I'm like, I might as well enjoy the fun and get involved. Yeah, so that was kind of scary because I've never done any road riding or group riding, let alone gravel. So I felt a bit out of control in some parts, but it's all good experience. And then so I got a second in my age group for that race, which was out of the blue. But I was quite stoked with that. And then the most recent one I did was a 30-kilometer single track XC type race in Rotorua. And I got a first in my age category for that as well.
Nice job.
which I never would have been able to do if I didn't train.
Sure, absolutely.
And use TrainerRoad.
Nice. Glad we can help with it. What's your first? Let's contrast your first race and then the most recent race. What things have you learned to do that help you, like whether it's with pre-race or during the race? What things have you learned as a racer that now have helped you get better results or just have a better experience?
Probably how important nutrition is. I know that 20 kilometers isn't really a long time you're spending on the bike, but I think it's good practice to even, for the long ones, get better at your nutrition and making sure you're getting carbs and fueling, because I find that when I've been in the race, the last thing I'm thinking of doing is sipping from a water bottle or eating a Cliff Block or something when I'm just like spent, I can when I can't breathe, the last thing I feel like doing is eating. But I need to work on that because it's it's common knowledge, and you won't last in any of the longer races if you don't do that. That's probably the biggest thing. And also riding with heaps of people, that was also quite a new experience. I still don't feel like I am fully confident with that.
Sure.
I got a bit taken off guard in one of the races because all the people at the start, it gets a bit bottlenecked, just trying to overtake. And it's scary at times because they just like, you're meant to move over, but I just didn't even know what I was doing.
Sure.
But so that was good. It's taught me, like, you've got to learn how to do that in a race, know how to let people pass and also overtake in the right points, especially in single track. It gets quite hard, especially in the rain. When it's slippery. So it's probably the scariest thing for me.
Sure. Yeah. Do you have any racing goals going forward? What's your end goal with this? Is it just competing and taking it step at a time? Do you have something big on your calendar? Like, I know you have the Pioneer. That's a huge stage race in New Zealand. But I don't know what you have on the plans.
Well, I was supposed to be doing a event. It's 50 kilometers. So it'll be quite a big one. Probably about, I think it's like 1,500 meters climbing. So big day on the mountain bike for me. It's called the Waka 50, which is in Rotorua. So I was planning on doing that this month, but because we've had another outbreak of Delta, and we've got Auckland in lockdown, and then the rest of the country's a bit freer, but we're not really sure if that's going to go ahead.
Sure.
So might have to readjust my plans. I think long term I'd like to get into XCO racing. That'd be cool. I think the format would be awesome and tough, but I think it'd be really cool to get into. And so maybe that's on the cards next year. Maybe the Nationals, I don't know. It's
That'd
quite
be cool.
ambitious. But yeah, the interesting thing with that is I think most of the women race in one race because it's not as it's not as popular as it should be, really. So I think you've got the masters and like the under 23s and the elites all racing together, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't really think I've got anything to lose, hopefully I'll just, be in there somewhere, not come last.
Sure.
And then in the meantime, just work on my fitness, keep getting those wins with the gains I'm getting from TrainerRoad, and work on my technical skills as well. I think it's important to do that as well, actually get outside and ride, because we're coming into summer now, so it'd be a good time to do that as well.
Absolutely. So I think the most important question that we need to answer before we wrap up here is, so how do you stack up to your partner Cam now? He suggested that you get on an e-bike so you could keep up with him. So how do you stack up now?
In the nicest way possible, I drop him on the climb.
Nicest way possible. I like that. Nice job. That's got to feel good.
It feels
have you asked him
well.
if you asked him if he'd like to get an e-bike yet?
I should have. I'll record it and send it through. I'll send through his reaction.
That's awesome. All in jest, I'm sure Cam's awesome, and it's so cool that you get to train together and have that experience together. And Nadia, I just really
lucky.
I appreciate you taking this time to share your experience as a new athlete. We don't often talk about new athletes in the course of, a handful of months of training, but I think it's a really important time. I like that you've just given things time. You're not trying to rush it. You're finding a spot where you can fit training in, and you're just taking steps and doing what's fun and exploring different aspects of cycling, which is really cool, without trying to become something so quickly. You're just letting yourself kind of explore. It's awesome. Do you have any other advice, like kind of parting advice, that you would give to new athletes or people that want to get into mountain biking in particular?
I think from a fitness perspective, you will, if you put in the training consistently, you will see gains, even if it's not a huge jump, you'll realize those gains eventually. So don't be overwhelmed with the end goal, just work towards it, little baby steps. And from a racing perspective, I suppose, just go out there and enjoy it. There's probably someone out there who's, a 70-year-old on a single speed hardtail bike doing it, everyone has to start somewhere. Just if you want to do it, just do it and have fun.
That's good advice for all of us, regardless of experience level. So fantastic. Nadia, I appreciate this. If people want to get in touch with you, is there a good way to do it, whether it's through social media or anything else?
Sure. I've got Instagram. My handle is Nadia_Hill, which is quite easy. I'm also on Strava. I'm not sure what my name is on there, but if you just look up my name, I'll be there somewhere.
Sounds good. We'll put the links down below in the description for this podcast and for the YouTube video for joining us on YouTube. And remember, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, and that way you'll get updates every time we post a new Successful Athletes podcast. But also, we post videos every day, so you can go and check that out. Awesome stuff. And we got some mountain bike technique ones coming actually pretty soon here. So appropriate for this episode for sure. You can also subscribe to this podcast and share it with your friends. And I'd love to hear from you. If you're listening to this and TrainerRoad has helped you achieve any level of success, go to trainerroad.com/SAP and submit your story. I would love to hear it. So Nadia, thanks a bunch. I'm excited to follow along and cheer you on from afar as you take on racing and continue to drop your partner. So
thanks, Jonathan.
Absolutely. Thanks, Nadia. We'll chat soon.
Yeah, thanks for your time. Yeah.